This is the normally scheduled board meeting, and we had a variety of issues that were going on, probably highlighted by Act 619, which is Senator Hewitt's bill to sort of revision higher ed. And so we had a good conversation earlier and today.
Before we get started this morning, though I've got a distinct pleasure to be able to do something this morning. It's a man that I have not known a long time personally, but I have known him through his career at and for the state of Louisiana, and the remarkable things that one man has accomplished over many years of service in the Louisiana legislature. I was very fortunate to get to know him under the administration of Governor John Bell Edwards, and know him well and fully understand why Governor Edwards selected this man to be his chief of staff as he entered office in really a new era in Louisiana politics. And the advice that this gentleman has given Governor Edwards, and the advice and counsel that he has given me has been incredible. And so I've had that pleasure for over the last 12, 14, 16 months to really get to know him so well. So what I'd like to do is, talk about his 30-year career, his dedication to higher education, and what he has meant to the state of Louisiana. And so I want to acknowledge our chief of staff, who is retired from the legislature, retiring from his advisory capacity, and salute him for a job well done while he was here for those 30 years in the Louisiana legislature. So it's with heartfelt appreciation for your boundless commitment to education, to higher education, to its colleges, its universities, its students, to the state of Louisiana, that in just a moment I will call the Honorable Ben Nevers Ford to receive a plaque of appreciation, very deep appreciation, sincere appreciation from the Louisiana Board of Regents. But before I do, while I have the microphone, it'd be easier for me to read this here than to come down in front and read this, but I'd like to read to you in full the board resolution. Whereas Ben Nevers served the state of Louisiana as an honorable member of the Louisiana House of Representatives, serving the 75th District, comprising of Tangipahoa and Washington parishes from 2000 to 2004. And whereas Ben Nevers was elected to serve the 12th District of Louisiana as an honorable member of the Louisiana State Senate, representing St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, and Washington parishes from 2004 to 2016. Whereas Ben Nevers has consistently demonstrated his staunch support for Louisiana education at all levels in general, and public post-secondary education in particular, and being elected to the Bogalusa City Council School Board, numerous state committees and commissions on civic education, tuition, high school redesign, early childhood education, textbooks, libraries, assessment and testing, the Blue Ribbon Commission on Educational Excellence, and the State Articulation and Transfer Council. And whereas Ben Nevers served on the state of Louisiana as vice chair and then chairman of the Senate Education Committee, and then chief of staff of the governor. And whereas Ben Nevers has throughout his tenure tirelessly championed higher education as a public good. And whereas Ben Nevers deserves the highest acknowledgement and commendation for the uncompromising commitment he has made as a guiding force for the change of articulation and transfer, the inspiring strides he has taken to promote, support, improve, and advance articulation and transfer efforts, has demonstrated that he is a true champion for Louisiana articulation and transfer. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Louisiana Board of Regents does hereby recognize and commend and celebrate Ben Nevers for his exemplary service to the state of Louisiana and his relentless pledge to post-secondary education. Be it further resolved that upon the occasion of his retirement, the Board of Regents extends its profound gratitude to the Honorable Ben Wayne Nevers Sr. for his educational foresight and partnership with higher education within the higher education community. It is with grateful thanks that the Board of Regents proudly will present a plaque to the Honorable Ben Nevers. So if he would please come forward where I could meet him down here with his lovely wife, Ann Nevers, and his grandson, Drake, to join him. And let me join you down there. The plaque reads, once again, with heartfelt appreciation for your boundless commitment to Louisiana higher education, its colleges and universities, and its students, the Board of Regents, Louisiana Board of Regents, honors Ben Nevers, the champion of articulation, for your fearless leadership and vision. February 2017.
Wade, I would like, I guess, my lifelong partner, my best friend, to stand here with me. This year we will be married 52 years. And you know, not a lot of people can say that. It's hard to find a senator that's speechless, Senator Hewitt. But I cannot thank the Board of Regents and all the people that are here enough for what you've done in this great state. The sacrifice that you've made to serve our people and to try to better education through some very, very difficult time. And I can tell you, education's about like being married to my lovely wife. It's a work in progress. But I can tell you, we're going to get there. I'm optimistic. With the leadership we have behind me and the leadership we have in this room, there's no reason we can't get there. Our children deserve no less. Mr. Lipsey, you've been one of the finest gentlemen and men and one of the best leaders I've ever met. And I thank you for that. But he too has a connection to my area. He married a lady from Bogalusa, which is my hometown as well. So I realize some of the pain that you've been through, but I also understand why you want to do everything you possibly can to better education in our state. My wife, a school teacher, one that I, like Governor Edwards, go to bed with every night and suffer whatever consequences I need to suffer because of my actions during that day. But she always reminded me, being education has to be the #1 priority. With my children, with my grandchildren, who's a student at LSU, hopefully you're making decent grades, Drake. I can tell you there's never been anybody prouder than LSU and other universities in our state than my children. We've got a lot of work to do, but I can tell you, with leadership like Senator Hewitt and others in our legislature, we can get there. But it's going to require laying down all of our partisan attitudes. It's going to require us all working together. It's going to require some compromise. But I'm fully convinced we have a governor that's willing to work with each of you. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what your beliefs are, he's ready and willing to engage in conversations as to how we can best provide better educational opportunities to our children. Yes, articulation and transfer was a big deal, but I want to tell you, it wasn't me that passed that legislation, it was all of you. And it's not me that made it happen, it was all of you. And we're not there yet. We're going to keep working at it. But with our commitment to give credit due to those students for academic courses they've taken, no matter whether it's in a technical community college setting or for a university, we're not going to go wrong. We're going to give them credit for what to do, whether it's college credit hours earned in the secondary system. And we're going to move them out of our university system with a degree that they can travel across the world and get a job. And more likely than not, they can stay right here in Louisiana. And they can work for companies like Bobby Yarborough's, like many of y'all's. Bobby, we're going to do this thing. I'm going to tell you, each one of y'all are going to pull this off. And while I will be back sitting in a rocking chair with my lovely wife, I'll be praying for you. I'll be out there to support you and do whatever I can from my new position. Thank you very much. May God bless each one of you, and may God bless this great state of Louisiana. Thank you.
And I will immediately like to call the February meeting of the Board of Regents to order. We'll move on. And the first order of business is the installation of board offices and executive committee. And there's only one person that was not able to attend the last time, so I'd like Vice Chair Regent Edward Markle to come forward, please, as Uma will give you the oath of office. Right. Your name. You can go on down there. We'll do Regent Markle first, then we'll do both of them.
Just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and your name,
Edward Markle,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will
that I will
support the Constitution and laws
support the Constitution and the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully and impartially
faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me as
incumbent upon me as Board of Regents Vice Chair
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Okay?
Congratulations. Now, I'd like to call Regent Temple and Regent Margaret Ford to the oath of office as members of the Executive Committee.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and your name,
I, Evan Markham,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will
that I will
support the Constitution and laws
support the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully and impartially
faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me in the past
all duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Executive Committee, Board of Regents,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding,
so help me God.
so help me God. Look it up here.
Congratulations.
I'll take three.
I'd like to call on now our Commissioner, Rallo. We're in other business, and I'd like to call on Commissioner Rallo to give his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll be brief, but we've been focusing so much attention, necessary attention, and important attention on 619. It appears sometimes that the rest of the world has sort of stopped, but it hasn't. And I'd like to just share a couple of things that the board, that the staff has been engaged in, and really as part of our mission of outreach throughout the state. Just a few examples. Dr. Gene Burns has been working with the SHIO Group, which is the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association, on a grant with HBCUs to fund a project pipeline restoring minority male participation and persistence in educated preparation programs. And Southern University has been working diligently on this for the future of our teachers in this state to engage in that pipeline as an important initiative. Another one, for example, is our open textbook. We mentioned the fact that our goal is to really minimize the cost to students, actual cost to students, by utilizing open source materials. And we have been engaged in getting a lot of faculty participation. I see some of our folks over there from the Lewis Network. And one example is at Southeastern, there were over 34 faculty members who were engaged in some seminars talking about how best to develop and utilize these open source materials. There's been a lot of support for that. And last but not least, we met earlier this month in Alexandria over the course of 2 days, and Regent Lipsey was there and Regent Martin were there. We had almost 400 staff and faculty over 2 days to talk about trends and options, many of which were basically tied into 619, but other things also talking about where higher education is going. It was wonderful to see that level of interest, that engagement by faculty, by staff, and many others. So I just mention that because sometimes we get so focused on the day-to-day things that are public, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes on. I just wanted to share that with the board members in a very positive way, so thank you.
How does the board feel about the ending of the Louisiana special session?
Well, we were pleased that higher ed really was held harmless, which was very good, but as you well know, yesterday they started for the next year, and higher ed, along with everybody else, is looking at a 2% budget cut. TOPS right now is funded only at 70%, so we have a lot of work to do, but we think we have a lot of support in the legislature, but it really comes down to the amount of money that's available. These are good conversations, good public conversations, and we just appreciate some more input. 619 is still on our website, and people are willing to go out there and take a look and give us some commentary.